If I were to start my business over, would I do it the same and what would I do differently? So I'm going to tell you guys all my secrets today. I would lean heavily into content creation and kind of skip the open house thing.
The most annoying thing that I see on Instagram from like other realtors is the just listed.
Yeah.
Like open house this day, like just sold.
I think this one is super underrated and it's having a business plan. I would not use All right, so I started off, we had moved here to Colorado Springs in 2015. I didn't know anyone. And when we were looking for a house, I just called an agent off of Zillow and he showed us around. He helped us figure out what house we want to buy. And then I knew I was going to get my real estate license here. So I just asked him, like, could you hire me? And that's, I guess, my first mistake that I made. Not a mistake. I mean, it got me to where I am today. But a lot of agents don't realize that once you get your license, they are like nervous. I was nervous. And I kind of had some background knowledge. And I was still nervous of who's going to hire me. And it's not so much who's going to hire you, but who are you going to hire? Because if you make money as an agent, the brokerage makes money. So 90% of brokerages will take almost anyone. There are a few select ones that like run highly efficient teams and give out a lot of leads. So they are more selective, but for the most part, like you're interviewing the brokerage. So I didn't do that. I just went to the first place that I knew. And I trusted Scott, so like it worked out. But when you go into interview brokerages, you are in the driver's seat and they kind of sometimes make it look the other way. So I would be asking, like, how are you going to support me? How have you built your business? Are there opportunities for me? How much am I going to pay you? And I didn't do that. So I paid a lot of money the first, 4 or 5 years, I think. And then I figured out that if I left for another brokerage, I would have to sell less homes and make the same amount of money. But because I was giving away 20% of my paycheck, I had to work more than make the same amount of money that I make now, if that makes sense. So that's the first thing. And then another thing I would do is I would not slave away at open houses and I would get into social media immediately. So I was way behind on the social media kind of, attraction-based marketing thing. So I think I made my Instagram public like a year and a half ago or so. And I've closed several deals. My old clients keep up with me there. Like, it's just such a powerful tool. And it was around 9 years ago, but they were just starting it. So I probably should have jumped on that bandwagon when I had the opportunity to, but I was just like, well, it's social media. Nobody wants to see pictures of me and my kids and stuff. And I think if I were to start over now, like say if we moved to another state or city, I would lean heavily into content creation and kind of skip the open house thing. If you think about it, the content that you create can reach so many people. It can reach people while you're sleeping, while you're playing with your kids, while you're working out, doing the things that you want to do, where for an open house, you have to be there Saturday, Sunday. I would do them from 11 to 2. So every weekend, driving there and staying there was 7 hours each weekend that I was committing and taking away time from my family. If I had just, in 7 hours, the amount of content I could have created would have reached way more people. And then you have people coming into an open house and you're convincing them to use you, where on social media, they either like my content and they like my personality or they scroll past it. So I'm usually stuck with the people that do like me, whereas with an open house, I'm having to convince someone in 10 minutes if they like me or not. Hopefully.
I feel like if somebody doesn't like you, because I mean you can gauge somebody's personality from their Instagram or social media if they're pretty active on it. So, I mean, if I don't like somebody based off of that, I'm not going to follow them, right?
Yeah.
So you already have that connection between each other
Right.
if they're following you on social media.
When I've seen content that I like, then I follow them, and then they put out more content, and I'm like, oh, I did not think this is what this account was. So then I unfollow them because I don't like, I don't know, how they're just things about them that I don't like, which is fine. But that, I think, shows that why it's so important to show up as yourself. Because if I put content out, like I'm sitting here with like slacks and a blazer and I'm button up and you can't see part of my tattoo, you can't see that my husband has tattoos, and then, I'm super like, I don't know, just
Not you.
not me. I'm trying not to say it in a mean way. And then it might attract a certain person. And then they see us, casually in our life, and they see you're tattooed from head to toe. I have a tattoo. I'm wearing jeans to showings. I'm wearing slippers, like not slippers, but sandals. They may not like that. So just show up as who you are. And then I think people have this mindset that like they have to fit a certain mold, and you absolutely don't have to.
So the most annoying thing that I see on Instagram from like other realtors is the just listed.
Yeah.
Like open house this day. Like just sold. Is that the type of stuff that you're posting?
Absolutely not. So when I first started posting on social media, Facebook, Instagram, it was, just sold, just listed, like, ta-da, this is what I can do. And it wasn't working. And the reason it wasn't working is because I was not providing value. I was just kind of being like a show pony. Like, people need to know that you're selling, but also, like, that didn't tell anyone anything about my personality, what value I bring, how I can help them, nothing. So agents now, I see it all the time. They're like, well, I'm posting on social media every day and nothing is working. Nothing is working because they're posting just sold, just listed, 5 tips to sell your house, 5 tips to do this, like infographics that they downloaded from Etsy or Canva or whatever. And that is just not going to cut it because anybody can buy that and there's nothing unique about it. I can't tell what your personality is from it. I can't tell what you're bringing to the table. Are you the table? Like, it tells me nothing. And a great example I have for this is when I look for agents for clients that are moving out of state and I don't already have a referral partner, I will look on Instagram first. And I'll look it up by hashtags or their location. And then I'll start looking at profiles. And if the profile just has like the first few rows are just listed and just sold, I skip it because I know they don't have any content on there that will tell me if they are a good personality match for my client. So then I keep looking. And then like I had one client that was moving to Florida. She has 2 small kids. I know she wants someone that is family oriented, is out in the community, and is a certain personality because she's very type A. She's very by the book, and she's a specific personality, and I know her. So I was looking for a specific personality in an agent that could handle her. And so I did. I found someone that, had a lot of talking head videos, a lot of, client transformations. This is the problem I had. These are the solutions I came up with, and this is how I helped this client. So it gave me an idea of who she is, and then I was able to dig further. That piqued my interest, and then I could tell, okay, they're a good match. Where if you're posting just listed, just sold, you might as well not be posting at all. So not only would I not do open houses, I would use social media heavily, and I would dial in my social media strategy where I'm not just posting useless stuff that anybody could post. It would be very personal, very specific, very experience-driven, and it would provide a lot of value. I think this one is super underrated, and it's having a business plan. I preach this a lot now. I live by it. I have it printed out and hung up in my office, but I did not always have a business plan. I kind of stumbled through everything, and I had to figure out, like, what is working, what's not working, where is the disconnect. And had I started with a business plan, I would have had a much easier time. I would have been able to scale faster and easier. But I learned all these things the hard way, so I can help you not have to learn it the hard way. So with a business plan, it doesn't have to be overcomplicated. You don't have to pay thousands of dollars for it. Mine is a one-page template that I use, and every year I change it. So I have my lead sources. So where am I going to be getting leads from? Social media, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, referrals, repeats, SOI, and then online presence. And then with that, right next to it, I have everything that I need to do to get leads out of those sources. So posting on social media, how much, what kind of content am I putting out? How often are we keeping up with past clients? What are the events we're going to do for that year? What are the Popeyes we're going to do? So everything is mapped out every year. And every quarter we look at that and we reevaluate, like, okay, this worked, this didn't work. Let's add this, whatever the case may be. So I have that. Then I have, my action items, and then I break it out. So daily, weekly, monthly, and quarterly, what am I doing? So daily, I know I'm either posting or interacting with people on social media. Weekly could be I'm going through our referral list and touching base with those people. Monthly, I'm working on a new guide. Quarterly, we're updating all our social media stuff. So if I sit down and I look at it, I know, okay, so today's Monday, this is the day, this is what I have to do. And then I also have on the back of it like a monthly breakdown, January through December. And I know, for example, our kids that are out of school in March for 2 weeks. They are out for summer for 2 months. So I don't put any big projects in those months so that I can be with them and we can spend more time with them. So it doesn't have to be like, okay, this person's doing it like this and now you have to do it like this. Just do it in a way that helps you run your business and balance your life in a way that feels good to you. And don't try to force something else with that. So another thing I would do different, I would not use my broker's CRM, their email, or anything that they're providing me for free without having my own thing. So you can use their CRM, you can use all their free stuff. I would never, ever use their email, because if you leave the brokerage, and no one ever wants to leave on bad terms, but say you leave on bad terms, they can cut off access to that immediately. And then people are emailing you and you have no idea. So you should always have your own email. You should always have your own CRM. Or if you don't have your own CRM and you are using the broker CRM, at least have a backup of all of your clients' information, their email addresses, phone numbers, somewhere backed up in an Excel spreadsheet or otherwise. I've never used someone else's, but I've known agents over the years that have gotten totally screwed over when they've left the brokerage. Like, even on good terms, the broker is salty that they're leaving and they're taking their income with them, and they've just cut them off, or they've just like locked them out of the CRM, and you might have hundreds or thousands of clients or leads contact information in there, and now you can't access any of that. So don't ever trust or rely on others to do the right thing. Just prepare for the worst, so then that way you're not getting screwed in the end.
So what were you doing before you started tracking everything or treating your business like a business that maybe some of these agents are doing now, or maybe they're not doing stuff at all?
Before, I always tracked it to some extent, but it was very loosely. So with that came just like an immense amount of anxiety. If you're not tracking when your leads are coming in, what you're doing daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and you don't know the results of that, you're going to be spinning your wheels and you won't be able to recreate things that you do. Like, I know if I hold an event, at least X amount of people will reach out to me after, X amount of people will send me a referral, and that's just how I run everything. Like, I know if this action gets done, I have a result where I can tell you, okay, I should expect this to this, for like lead amounts and then conversion ratio as well. So tracking is so important, because if you're not tracking what you're doing it almost for no reason. Yeah.
I've seen a lot of like the famous Instagram agents and stuff, and they're like, treat your business like a business. And I guess, what is it that you're doing now, and what are you going to be able to teach other agents as far as running your business like a business?
Now I run it like a business, and I run a tight ship, so everything gets tracked. When are leads coming in? at what rate are we converting them? How many are we closing in each month? How many each quarter? When are our fast quarters? When are our slower quarters? So everything gets tracked, and then I've built a blueprint of that. So like I said before, you can find resources for that below. But that's kind of become my passion because I have been doing this for almost 10 years, and I have agents coming to me all the time asking me, well, how do you do this? How do you track this? Why do you have this? Like, it's just I've dialed it down and in to such a exact science that really all you have to do is just kind of plug your stuff in and then actually use it. The biggest thing is too that people start downloading all these things, paying for all these programs, and then they don't use them because maybe it's too complicated, it's too hard to like figure out. Like everything that I have is simple. I use Notes, I use Trello, and I use Google Sheets. That's it for the most part. And, social media and all that. But other than that, I'm not paying hundreds or thousands of dollars for a CRM. Like there's no CRM that will build your business unless you're putting in the work and you're actually using it. So that's all it is. It's a tool to help you. But if it's slowing you down because it's taking you too long to learn it, then you need to find something else.
So before you started treating it like a business,
Mm-hmm.
do you know like how many leads you were getting versus now that you are treating it like a business and you're super strict, how many leads you're getting now?
I couldn't tell you before. Now I know every 4.2 days someone reaches out to us about buying or selling. And I'm not talking about like, somebody asked me a question about like what's an appraisal or something, or what do you think I could rent my house for? I'm talking actual like an agent referring us a client, another client referring us a lead, another client wanting to do repeat business with us, someone on Instagram, YouTube, or Facebook reaching out and saying, hey, I want to work with you. Like these are actual people that we could possibly convert. And then I know our conversion ratio. So I know that if we continue doing the things that we're doing, we will get X amount of leads every year. And our conversion ratio is what we work on the most. So we're constantly trying to figure out, okay, how can we say things differently? How can we provide more resources so that we get our conversion ratio from, 40% to 50%? Because I already know that the amount of leads that are coming in are great. So now let's just work on making that better and converting them at a higher rate, as opposed to, maybe if one year we want to sell 100 houses, then I know we need more leads and better conversion. So then I know what to do to start getting more leads every 2 days, so it sounds like a lot, but it's easy once you start doing it. Like I can update everything in 5 minutes. So if I were to start over, these are the top things that I would do differently, implement right away. Hopefully this was helpful to you. If it was, leave me a comment below. If you have any questions, reach out to me anytime, and we'll catch you next time.